at 7:07 and 8 seconds p.m. Central Time. At a gentle speed of 19 miles an hour. We enter the Earth's atmosphere. We're traveling that will build on off the coast of San Diego is a GO forecast from our meteorologists here at the Spaceflight Meteorology Group at the Johnson Space Center. And standing by on the deck here at the Spaceflight Meteorology Group at the Johnson Space Center. And standing by on the deck of the USS John Murtha is my colleague from the Kennedy Space Center, Megan Cruz. Megan?
Hey there, Rob. Yeah, welcome to the bow of the USS John Murtha. This is where we will report out live updates from the ship as NASA and the U.S. military work to recover our Artemis 2 astronauts in just about an hour and a half. How exciting. Now, right now, as you can see, we are out in the Pacific Ocean. We are just west of San Diego. We're actually staged about 6.5 miles away from where we expect.
I'm just testing out.
Orion to splashdown, and then we will incrementally move closer. So at the time of splashdown, we'll be about 5 miles away, and then we will move to 3.2 miles away. At that point, we'll pause, make sure that all the debris that might be coming down with Orion, because basically some parts of like the parachute system, they're jettisoned off Orion during descent. So we'll just want to make sure that those all land in the water and that we are safe to move even closer. So we will make sure that we can move a little closer, and at that point we will move to a mile away from Orion. And at that point the ship will circle the capsule while NASA and Navy recovery forces work to get our astronauts out, and we should have great views of the bow from here. But also we have a ton of cameras all around the ship. For example, we actually have some cameras right to the left of me here on the bow. These are very strong, stabilized cameras. We can really get up close to make sure that we are sharing all the images we have available to you. We also will have some views from above. We actually have 5 planes providing live views of splashdown today. In fact, some of those aerial assets just took off from San Diego minutes ago. And then actually here on the flight deck, you see 4 helicopters, the 2 in the...
Great to be here. Thanks.
Absolutely. So you just left the landing forces operations center here on the ship. How are we looking for recovery?
Right now, it's looking great. When I left, they were just about to get into weather briefing with Mission Control Center in Houston, but
okay, so there is a lag on my internet maybe.
Listening to the loop this morning and everything that's been going on, the reentry trajectory correction burn, the return trajectory correction burn went great. They were right down the money, right on the money, right down the middle.
Like monitoring mode, but really things will pick up about 15 minutes after splashdown.
Yeah, so a couple minutes before splashdown, things start happening really, really fast. Some events during the re-entry, they're maybe a second or two apart, and so it just takes a whole lot of effort and a lot of updates back and forth between us and Houston to try to keep track of everything that's happening, all in real time. And then after splashdown, that's when the recovery team really kicks into high gear. We have our boat teams, our boat crews going out, our divers, doing hazardous assessments as they get progressively closer to the capsule, making sure it's safe for all of our people to go in, and it's also safe for the astronauts to come out. Because really, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. Is we're to make sure that the astronauts get home safe after their tremendous journey to the moon and back. But then also we have, like you mentioned on a minute ago, all of our imagery helicopters are taking imagery, camera shots of it as it's coming in all the way through splashdown. I mean, they'll see it as soon as it crosses the horizon, all the way to the ocean here.
And then afterwards, we have to recover actually Orion to bring it into the well deck of the ship.
Absolutely, yeah. And so once the astronauts are safe on board, then those same dive teams are going to transition into securing the capsule. They'll position some equipment around it to kind of facilitate that. The ship will move into position. We'll attach a really big winch line to it, and then a bunch of tending lines. We'll pull the capsule around behind the ship and then start to slowly bring it in. And then, yeah. Orion comes in, goes hard down, and everyone cheers.
Artemis 2 recovery started a month after Artemis 1 launched. That was the uncrewed test.
Okay, for those who are watching live and don't know what's going on the screen right now. So basically, NASA's mission, that was Artemis 2, that was launched on 1st of April 2026, is coming back to the Earth now. So basically, it's a splashdown day for the astronauts that went to the moon and had a roam around circle around the moon. So now they are coming back onto the Earth. And like the crew of the NASA, the logistic and the on-ground team is just waiting for them, that when will they land back to the Earth. Basically, you can see two screens right now. On the left, which is a slightly bigger picture, is basically the live view from the astronauts capsule that will be landing back onto the Earth. And on the right hand side picture, that where you can see an interview is going on. So basically, it's a team of NASA who will be managing all the recovery part, I'll say, of the Artemis crew. That they'll be taking care of all the logistical and all the things required for the crew to recover them back, like make sure that everything is safe around. So those people, and probably he might be the head of that department for NASA on that for today's mission. And now you can see the control room of this whole program. See a photographer clicking all the pictures, capturing all the memories, the legendary day of the NASA's 54 years next mission, which is Artemis 2. And now you can see onto the right the live view from the cruise space capsule that will be landing back onto the Earth. I'll not say landing, I'll say splashdown. Basically, the whole capsule will just detach from the space module, and it will just fall onto the Earth. And during that time period when you'll be landing, coming back onto the Earth, and when it is in the atmosphere, maybe you can say the communication system will be disrupted for that time. And you can see a countdown there too on the screens right now. In 1 hour 19 minutes 50 seconds, like 48 seconds now, it is expected that the crew will be back on Earth. So yeah. We have 1 hour 19 minutes left. So let's listen to the people.
Then the green light will be given for the Navy recovery teams to begin to make their way closer to integrity to begin the erection of inflatable life raft called Porch. They're put in harnesses to be hoisted one by one in sequential fashion in an alternating fashion to the two hovering Navy helicopters overhead.
Houston integrity for a status.
Go ahead.
Seats 3 and 4 are connecting umbilicals. We're going to be stepping into leak check soon. 1 and 2 will be seated. 3 and 4 will be free float, and we'll configure EPROC accordingly.
Houston, copies all.
Reed Wiseman talking about the current procedures. The suiting of the crew members and subsequent leak checks, a final leak check for all 4 crew members. Everything is actually running a few minutes ahead of schedule. So once the life raft is inflated next to the Integrity spacecraft and the recovery teams have arrived alongside of the vehicle. The hatch will be open and the crew members will be brought into that front porch, as it is called, one by one. They will be hoisted into the hovering helos overhead, and those helos then will turn around once the 4 crew members are on board, 2 for each helicopter, and will head back to the ship. That should be about a 10 to 15 minute transit. Once the helicopters land on the deck of the USS John Murtha, the
I think I have to pause the stream for a moment. I think there is some technical issues going on. Probably it's the camera that's not working right now. Let me check what's the problem. I think it should work right now. Yeah, it is. Okay.
crew members will be exiting those helicopters and brought into medical bay on the deck on the ship itself for comprehensive medical exam. Heading for its splashdown site off the coast of San Diego, as you just heard from Megan Cruz on the deck of the USS John Murtha. Splashdown once again under those 3 main parachutes is expected at 7:07 and 8 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time, 2.5 hours before sunset. The actual total distance traveled for Integrity from launch to splashdown is estimated at 694,481 statute miles. Now that includes the first high elliptical Earth orbit following launch. that enabled Integrity to move to 43,000 miles above the Earth at its apogee, and enabling a 24-hour period of systems checkouts before the flight control team here and the mission management team gave approval for Integrity to conduct its translunar injection that propelled it on its way to the moon and its historic lunar flyby. So the total distance we expect this vehicle to have traveled at Splashdown, 694,481 statute miles. With everything proceeding on track and on time aboard Integrity, the vehicle system's in excellent shape as the Earth grows larger in the field of view. Let's go back to the USS John Murtha and Megan Cruz, who is standing by.
So basically now they are checking all the instruments that is it safe to land back onto the Earth. I was saying moon, but actually on Earth, like they're coming back. So they're just checking that each and every single thing is perfect so that they have no problems with the instrumentations. Any readings might be faulty that can, lead to some disruptions or some accidents that had previously been with NASA. Of course, we might all know about the NASA's mission when India's astronaut Kalpana Chawla was. Yeah. So on the left, you can see the live view from the space capsule itself, and on the right now they are having the discussions with the Navy team of in the USA that is on the standby to recover the astronauts and the space capsule.
I look forward to this day, and just by God's grace, everything's parting, the sky. Sure. Yeah, so the crew woke up. When they splashed down, they were woken up about 8.5 hours ago. Me and my fellow crew surgeons, Doctors Chris Haas and Rafi Kumjian from the Canadian Space Agency, spoke with them about 6.5 hours ago just to double check on how they were doing, if there's any medical issues, how they slept, and then kind of go over their landing day protocol for their medications, for what we call a fluid load, to try to replace some of the fluid and electrolytes that they've lost with just a normal space adaptation. Once they got to space, they kind of have to replace some of that fluid to help them with the whole landing kind of readaptation to 1G, which they haven't done for the last 10 days. And then just kind of let them know how things are going to play out, out with the open water teams all the way until we finally get to the med deck. So they were very pumped up, very hurried though. They had a lot of cabin configuration, a lot of things to get ready. So they're excited, but also very focused on the job that they had to do. So we've trained a long time for this, and we're ready.
And you said some medications. I mean, those are kind of just to mitigate the effects of, obviously, their more than 695,000-mile journey back to Earth. It's just like anti-nausea medication, right?
Yeah, exactly, Megan. The astronauts are very healthy, fortunately, and even when they come back in reentry, the human system is very kind of dynamic. It has to readapt very quickly, and one of the most common responses they get is just some stomach awareness to some nausea, even to some vomiting. And with our crews that land out in Karagana, the Soyuz crews or our SpaceX crews, they all kind of experience the same thing. This will be the first time we're landing in water since December 1972, and I worked with all the Apollo astronauts years ago, and they all told me that landing in the water, especially in the Pacific, can be very provocative. So we take steps to give them medicines to really mitigate some of that nausea, vomiting, help them feel a little bit better, and also sometimes just use a little anti-inflammatory medicine just to help with coming back to 1G. The effects of microgravity, especially as you age and you have a little arthritis, you feel great in microgravity, and everyone kind of curses curses coming back to the ground, like, oh, dang, 1G. But so that helps a little bit. But for the most part, the main thing is just replacing that fluid and then trying to help them with that transition back to 1G, and then we're ready to go.
Yeah, and their health is assessed almost immediately after they splash down.
Yeah, so we have Dr. Jesse Wang, and we have our independent duty corpsmen, who are the Navy version of paramedics, extremely highly trained, highly experienced Navy medics and divers who will go out there, open the capsule about 25, 28 minutes after splashdown and do the first initial assessment. So Jesse and his team will go out there and look at each crew, kind of do their assessments, get vital signs, report back to Drs. Haas and Kumji and I back in the med bay, let them know how they're doing, and then if they've got the normal kind of space adaptation kind of things, we expect that. They're good to go on that. If anything, didn't go the way we want, they're all prepared for that as well. And Jesse and his team, I mean, this is their full-time job, taking care of, sailors and folks who might be injured. We don't expect any injuries, but coming back, going 25,000 miles an hour down to, 20, miles an hour is still a dynamic process. I've heard it described as, kind of like a car crash. And then the crew will be ready to go, and Jesse and his team will make that transition to get them out to the front porch, do assessments on them again, call it to our med bay, and then once we have that and they're all good to go and the crew's feeling okay, we'll hoist them up in the helos. It's about a 3-minute flight back to the flight deck, and that's where me and the astronaut chief, Scott Tingle, will actually meet them. I'll get eyes on them, make sure they're all good, just take very slow transitions, and then by one, we'll either get them out with the SMTs, the SAR med techs under each arm, to kind of just walk them very slowly to med bay, which actually helps them acclimate back to 1G. Or if they really don't have their sea legs back yet, then we might put them in what we call a stair chair, which will be right behind them, and then just very slowly kind of get them back into med bay to start our full assessments for the team.
Yeah, so a really great team here to support them as soon as they get back, and also all throughout the mission, of course. You talked a little bit about this, but obviously, we have seen astronauts return from the International Space Station for over 25 years, so we kind of know that that journey, how it affects the body. But yes, we're talking about humans returning from the moon for the first time since 1972. How is this different from your perspective?
So it's different in one very significant respect. On Apollo, for exercise, they had something called the Apollo Exergenia, which was basically just a little canister with some ropes, and they would have some resistance and kind of do that. And the Apollo astronauts really liked that. They liked the ability to exercise, because you decondition from a musculoskeletal standpoint, you lose your strength and your stamina very quickly. We had something called the Orion flywheel, which was able to impart much greater loads in terms of resistance, so they're able to do squats, deadlifts, different things, not dissimilar to what the ISS astronauts do, but with a lot less room to do it. And they also did rowing activities for cardiovascular health, and the crews loved it. But for the lunar crews, the future lunar crews, maintaining that physical conditioning, which our astronaut strength conditioning rehabilitation specialists, affectionately known as the ACERs, back in Houston, really work hard to get them in the best shape they're going to, have to be in to get to the moon. That device hopefully will maintain that. And Apollo only had about a 4.3-day journey to the moon. Our astronauts are going to have about a 10 to 14-day journey. Right. So maintaining that physical fitness, that strength and stamina is going to be crucial for the success of being able to do those very physically demanding lunar EVAs. Right. So we're very excited about what the astronauts have said about the device and what they have to say about the role exercise plays, going to the moon. And also the mental benefit.
Sure.
They just really like sweating, breaking the sweat, and actually just feeling like they're just getting a workout.
Right. Thank you so much, Rick. I really appreciate it. I know they're going to be in good hands, so we'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much.
Megan, thanks for the time.
Back to you, Rob.
Okay, so basically what happened right now, so the team that is going to recover the capsule, the person who was in charge for that was in the interview, and he mentioned this, that the astronauts will be coming after 10 days when they have been through in space. So what happened is, like, for example, you're in a very bright maybe Sunday, or like you're roaming around in the sun, and suddenly you enter in a dark room. What happened? for a moment you don't even see anything, and after a few minutes, maybe around 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you can start to see things around you. Even in fact, in a very dark environment, you can start to see things, right? So that's basically your body is adapting for a darker environment, and basically your iris is expanding so that maximum light can enter inside your eye, and it may fall on retina, and so then you can see the image or maybe the surroundings maybe clearly. So that's how your body adapts with the different environments. Same things happens with the astronauts that are going onto the sky, maybe in the space, like in the space, yes. So like the problem with this mission is like it's not a problem. It's basically the astronauts, when they are going to the space, they handle some sort of problems when they get back to the Earth in the same the usual gravity that is our humans and everything surrounded is adapted to. So they feel some problems for a few days of like maybe for a few hours in like minimally hours. Like in fact, they get some days to get back to that adaptations to live in the normal 1G gravity. 1G gravity is basically the normal gravity that is in which we are living right onto the Earth, and in the space it's like microgravity. It's it is very similar to in no gravity, so everything just floats in the sky, and you basically do not have to move your body parts much. You don't have to walk in the space. So when they get back onto the Earth, and they have to for moving, they have to use their legs to travel distances, or from going from point one to point other point. So they have to use their own legs, but when they are in the space, they do not have to worry about that thing. So they have to adapt with that problem. And also the entry part is also very not very simple. They have to go under they undergo have to like many problems. It can have very high accidental chances, but let's hope for the best that the astronauts can get right. Yeah, so let's listen to the live now.
Losses seen on Artemis 2 will not be like the ones that we saw on Artemis 1.
Rick Henfling indicated that the orientation of the spacecraft and the shortening of the distance of transit to the splashdown zone from the point of entry interface when we reach the top of the Earth's atmosphere, which will be coming up at 6:53 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time, should do the trick in minimizing the deleterious forces against that heat shield that were noticed on the Artemis 1 mission.
And we think we see a beautiful sunrise over the west coast of Australia.
Okay, so the astronauts are saying that they can see the sunrise. They're over Australia, I guess.
We copy.
Commander Reed Wiseman reveling in his final hour in space on this mission as Integrity is passing over the southwest coast of Australia now at an altitude of some 7,600 nautical miles. That will begin.
So you can also see onto the screen right now that the velocity of that space capsule is almost around 13,000 miles per hour. That is, way fast. For in kilometers per hour, you have to multiply it with 1.6, and they're almost around 8,700 miles from the Earth in terms of height. So yeah.
To fine-tune its angle of attack as it enters the Earth's atmosphere. Entry interface is scheduled 47.5 minutes from now. That's the point at which we will reach the top of the Earth's atmosphere, traveling about 34,882 feet per second at an altitude of 400,000 feet. Just 24 seconds after entry interface, we will begin a blackout period of 6 minutes in duration at 6:53 and 54 seconds p.m. Central Time. Now, right about 10 seconds after the blackout period begins, we are expected to reach peak speed, which would be 24,661 miles an hour That'll be about 103 miles an hour short of the velocity record set by the Apollo 10 astronauts, Tom Stafford, Gene Cernan, and John Young, when they returned from the moon on the Apollo 10 mission in 1969. That blackout period is expected to last 6 minutes in duration. At 6:54 and 52 seconds p.m. Central Time, we'll reach our peak heating period of about 4,000 to 5,000 degrees while we're in a communications blackout from Integrity and its astronauts. That blackout should end at 6:59 and 55 seconds p.m. Central Time, at which point we expect to regain communications with the crew. Capcom Jackie Mahaffey here in the flight control room will be talking to the crew, calling them, and we'll await a response from the crew as they come out of that blackout period. And at that point, their altitude will be just 157,000 feet above the Earth, traveling at 13,000 feet per second, with a range to splashdown of just 147 nautical miles. From that point on, the next key series of events will be the deployment of a series of parachutes that we discussed before. First, the forward bay cover chute deploy that will pull the forward bay cover away from the top of Integrity, followed by drogue chute deploy, and then the main chute deploy that's expected at 7:04 and 44 seconds p.m. Central Time. That will begin the gentle descent of Integrity towards its splashdown at just a velocity of just 19 miles an hour. And that will begin the recovery operations that you just heard Megan Cruz discuss with her folks on the USS John Murtha. All of Integrity's systems in great shape. The crew is suited up. Leak checks complete as we stand by for the next major milestone, which will be the crew module service module separation just 24.5 minutes from now.
Okay, so what is being discussed right now is basically they are adjusting for an angle of attack, which is basically the angle on which they'll be.
All of the activities from the start of entry interface to the point of splashdown will be quite rapid fire. Just 13.5 minutes from the point at which we begin descent into the Earth's atmosphere till splashdown. And just to show you, as Rick Shearing, the flight surgeon, alluded to in his interview with Megan Cruz, all of this happens to decelerate the vehicle from traveling around Mach 33 to just 19 miles an hour at splashdown. All of that happening in just 13.5 minutes. But the vehicle and the parachutes are all designed to support all of that, so we'll be standing by to report all that to you in sequential fashion as these milestones are ticked off and as we hear from the crew during its entry back into the Earth's atmosphere, and ultimately when they emerge from the black and at that point, we'll be just minutes away from splashdown. So with all of those preparations ongoing, we can briefly for another report from the USS John P. Murtha and Megan Cruz. Megan? And we'll regain that communication with the USS John P. Murtha just momentarily. In the meantime, everything is on track aboard Integrity. The flight control team here
parachute system, make sure that they don't fall on us here in the sea. And also our aerial assets, our folks in helicopters. So watching that float away right now. But with me right now is Captain Eric Kenny. He's the commanding officer of the John P. Murtha naval ship. Thank you so much for being here. There are so many moving parts that you have to keep an eye on.
That's absolutely right, yeah. But first of all, on behalf of the crew of USS John P. Murtha, Megan, thanks for having me on today. Happy to tell you what we're doing and excited to get the interview started.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we actually take a look at the flight deck here? We'll start there. Basically, we also, while watching this weather balloon float away, we noticed all 4 helicopters leave the flight deck. We now have an empty flight deck. We had 2 imagery helos as well as the 2 crew helicopters that will go recover the crew. This is just one of the many things that, again, our ship of 550 people. It's something that you oversee as commanding officer.
Yeah, absolutely. Every commanding officer, I would say really every naval service member, our priority is always safety. And as the commanding officer, I take that as one of my primary roles here on board. Mission accomplishment is important, safety always. So my day, really I would say my message to the crew
the velocity of that space capsule is almost around 13,000 miles per hour.
And motivating the team
way
for the
fast,
training that we've executed.
Kilometers per hour.
Really over the past 24 hours, now I'm trying to get us to slow down a little bit. Trust our training. Right? Don't believe all the hype. Don't believe everything that's going on. Just
in terms of height.
Trust what we've done to get to this point, and if we do that, we'll be successful today.
And also part of the big success is obviously the coordination between NASA and the U.S. military. How does it feel being able to support the human space program we have?
Yeah, I mean, since 1959 with Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, the history between NASA and the Navy has been in lockstep. But to get to this.
Okay, so basically we were discussing about the angle of attack, that what it is. So when, for example, this is the space capsule that is entering back onto the Earth. So this orange part is basically in which the astronauts are sitting right now. They have to come back onto this sort of angle, so that like basically there is a heat shield that is installed right over here, just at the neck of that bottle, so that all the heat that is being generated due to the friction of the atmosphere, it is absorbed by that heat shield, so that the capsule remains safe. And basically this part will be detached in the space, and the astronauts will land like this onto the Earth. And for 6 minutes there will be a complete blackout phase that is being called by the NASA. And why it is called blackout phase, basically during that time all the plasma will be blocking all the radio signals that is used for the communication system. And during that phase we'll not have any connection with the astronauts inside. Of course we can see them landing back onto the Earth, but we will not be able to communicate with them that what is exactly going on inside the capsule, and like what they are feeling, or even they are safe or not. So yeah, that's all what was discussed right now. And we are almost around 51 minutes from the splashdown, and you can already see the tension inside the control room. Everyone is just waiting for the astronauts to come back. And yes, you can see the astronauts now onto the screens. They are prepared. A few minutes ago, I was watching them recording this, the Earth. They are landing back on Earth with a GoPro camera. And on the left side, you can see an astronaut drinking water. So in space, there are no water bottles that they can carry. And, just simply how we drink water, just remove the cap and drink it like this. So in space we cannot drink water like that, so you have to use pipes to suck the water. Basically it's nearly impossible to drink water, because there is again gravity in the space, and everything is just floating around, so you cannot drink a floating water. You can drink, of course, the flowing water, but not the floating water. So yeah, now let's just listen what's going inside life.
78 nautical miles, a very long down track and a very longer period of exposure to heat loads than we're experiencing tonight. It also had that skip entry profile that we discussed earlier, dipping into the Earth's atmosphere, then back out, then back in. It was about 20 minutes of exposure.
Integrity, Houston, comm check on TDRS.
Jackie, we have it loud and clear on TDRS.
We have you the same.
Okay, I assume that
there's one of the weather
whitish
balloons
thing.
being
Okay, that's
deployed from the USS John P. Murtha.
So this they are releasing the weather balloons that can monitor the weather around that landing or splashing
Artemis
area.
1 entry had the vehicle.
The update on GPS, we haven't seen it track in yet.
Reed, we are watching. We are starting to get into the window where they may start acquiring, so should be within the next 10 minutes.
Okay, sounds good. We're holding at step 17 and getting ready for CMRCS hot fire.
And that exchange indicating that we are expecting to acquire data from the GPS system on board. That'll be a navigational tool that will basically tell Integrity's computers that they're on track down the center line of the corridor for the entry interface that will lead them to their splashdown point. Once again, the Artemis 1 entry exposed the heat shield for about 20 minutes of peak heating. For Artemis 2, we're going to reach a downtrack distance of 1,701 nautical miles from the point of entry interface with just 14 minutes of duration. And it's basically a different angle of attack, a little bit steeper angle of attack that will protect the heat shield from excessive heat loads. So that is the difference between Artemis 1 and Artemis 2, all designed into this mission to gather data, to protect the heat shield, since the Artemis 3 mission and beyond will have a different designed heat shield that will allow that skip entry type of profile to be resumed for all of the future missions coming back from the south pole of the moon when we initiate lunar landings. So we've handed over to the tracking and data relay satellite system. That's where we'll have communications for the rest of the flight. Just to give you some time hacks here, we're 13.5 minutes away from crew module, service module separation, and just 17 minutes away from the raise burn, that 19-second firing of the thrusters that will basically be the final fine-tuning of the angle of attack for Integrity as it enters the Earth's atmosphere.
Okay, so basically now we are almost around 13 minutes for the adjustments, and after 19 minutes they'll fire a adjustment throttle so that they can adjust the fine tune like adjust the spacecraft that will be coming back. And of course they were discussing about the timing for the spacecraft and the module that will be coming back.
And once again,
in Artemis 1, that was almost around 20 minutes that the spacecraft was almost 20 minutes in the sky coming back from the dense atmosphere. But for the Artemis 2, they are expecting 14 minutes this basically the re-entry of the crew. They're using a slightly steeper angles, change in some angles. They can reach the Earth quickly, and also the heat dissipations will be lesser compared to Artemis 1, so it is kinda more safer to be around like with the measurements that they are having this time. And of course I was seeing some helicopter shots that is being prepared for the crew to come back.
We're ready.
That call from spacecraft communicator Jackie Mahaffey indicating that we're 2 minutes away from a quick burst of the reaction control system. Thrusters, that will be a hot fire test prior to the separation of the crew module from the service module. The European service module has performed flawlessly throughout this flight. Everything, all the burns that had been prescribed for that service module have been executed on time and without a problem. There is the European flight control room that has overseen the manufacturing, the design of the European service module. They deserve quite a bit of credit on this mission for not only propelling the Integrity and its astronauts toward the moon, but also conducting the fine-tuning of its trajectory to bring it to this point where we are dead spot on down the middle of the corridor trajectory-wise to bring Integrity down for its splashdown in the Pacific just 44 minutes from now.
So they basically are giving credits to the European Space Agency, for which like they have created the command, the service module actually that is, propelling the spacecraft onto the space. So they were just cherishing all the work they have done previously for the spacecraft, and of course the module which is in space right now. So like they were mentioning that everything was on time and almost perfect.
What you're looking at is a computer-generated visualization based on real-time telemetry from Integrity, currently traveling about 16,000 miles an hour. Integrity traveling about 16,000 miles an hour.
For the prop cautions, we're taking a look.
Copy that.
Now just about 5,100 miles from Earth. Splashdown scheduled 43 minutes from now. We're just 9.5 minutes away from the crew module service module separation.
You can see the spacecraft is slightly moving. It's a simulation visualization from the Integrity spacecraft that is in space right now, preparing to come back.
We are confirming.
Integrity, we are assessing details, but so far looks like a good hot fire.
It is slightly moving and adjusting itself for the...
Looks good on board, Jackie. Thank you.
The final...
And Jackie Mahaffey took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say that we had a good hot fire test of the thrusters in advance of the crew module service module separation that's coming up just 8.5 minutes from now. This will begin the period in which we will have rapid-fire succession of critical activities on board that will lead to entry interface just 28 minutes from now, where the vehicle will enter the Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 400,000 feet. The time of entry interface, 6:53 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time.
Okay, so basically that was a test thrust, so that they can check that if the thrusters are working, so they might not have any problem afterwards. And they are working perfectly. Tensions are in the mission control room. You can see
Integrity's astronauts were awakened at mid-morning to begin their entry preparations. And propulsion officer now reports a good hot fire test in preparation for the crew module service module separation.
you can see the rocket module over here.
We're now inside 41 minutes until splashdown.
Integrity Houston, we have confirmed a good CMRCS hot fire. And although we are not seeing GPS acquired yet, you can skip the troubleshooting steps in 157 for now.
Integrity copies.
that GPS discussion indicating that we will be acquiring navigational data for Integrity through the Global Positioning System equipment on board. We just don't have it yet, but we will. All of Integrity's systems are in great shape to support its high-speed entry into the Earth's atmosphere. It, once again, will reach a peak speed of 24,661.21 miles an hour.
Your call, GPS. We at least have GPS 1 looking good on board.
We are confirming.
The Guidance, Navigation, and Control Officer here in Mission Control confirming that we have good lock on GPS data. We are on a communications link now through the Tracking and Data Relay satellite system. Now, following splashdown, we're going to lose that link and go to what's called a VLDR, a very low data rate communications link, so that we can talk to the crew inside Integrity as they are on the water.
Integrity, confirm we do see good GPS.
Okay, so we have a GPS connection now with the module.
We do too, especially GPS 1 is accepting in nav channels 1 and 3.
So we can now exactly pinpoint the location of them in the sky.
That,
and of course,
in
compared to
basically
Earth's.
telling Integrity's onboard computers its position relative to the Earth, but its trajectory and its orientation according to flight dynamics, and the Guidance, Navigation, and Control Officer is spot on.
So the
We have
relative.
now armed the pyros for the crew module service module separation coming up less than 5 minutes from now.
They have checked the integrities,
Once
the
again,
thrusters.
Just 10 seconds after entry interface, we will see Integrity reaching its peak speed of 24,661.21 miles per hour. That will be just seconds before we begin a 6-minute blackout period.
Integrity, Houston. Your vehicle is in a good config for CM-SM SEP and go for CM raise.
Houston, we see the same on board and copy go for CM raise.
So everything is aligned, and
that CM raise referred to as the slight firing of 19 seconds by Integrity's thrusters with a change in velocity of 9.9 feet per second, a slight nudge of the aft end of the vehicle so that it's tilted a bit upward, providing the final angle of attack as the vehicle enters the Earth's atmosphere. This being the mitigating factor that will reduce heat loads on the heat shield as we reach a point downrange from the start of entry interface, some 1,701 nautical miles to the splashdown site. Integrity systems in excellent shape. We are currently 3,300 nautical miles left in this mission. Splashdown scheduled 36 minutes, 39 seconds from now.
Integrity, Houston. For the 2 enabled prop cautions, what happened is while the thrusters were firing, multiple pressure sensors on each of the strings diverged a bit from each other. Those limits look to be set pretty tight. We think it could happen again when the thrusters fire in the future, so we are going to suppress those messages.
We concur with suppress, not inhibit. Thank you.
Okay, so some sensors that is telling
that,
some the
for
crucial
tonight,
data.
Reed Wiseman aboard Integrity indicating basically to ignore sensor data.
Yes.
All of Integrity systems are in good shape.
So basically the sensors are working correctly, but they might give some faulty readings. So they are just suppressing and ignoring some of the data that will be transmitted from the Integrity.
Now,
so
coming up on about 90 seconds till the crew module, service module separation. All quiet here in Mission Control as we enter the most critical phase of the completion of this flight. All of the preparatory activities leading up to the vehicle entering the Earth's atmosphere just 21 minutes from now.
So in a few minutes now, the capsule will detach from the Integrity's body, command module. Will
Coming up
separate.
on 1 minute. Mark 1 minute till crew module, service module separation.
So the crew module and the service module, the bottom white part will be detached from the command module. That is the black part you can see in the screen. So they both will separate, and the black part in which the astronauts are sitting right now come back onto the Earth. And also you can see a slight yellowish a line sort of dividing between the white and the black part of the Integrity space capsule. It's basically the heat shield that will be facing towards Earth, and basically it'll absorb all the heat that will be produced during the friction, due to the friction when the command module will land onto the Earth. So in any second now, the module will separate. And there we go.
And we have confirmation of crew module, service module separation. And a great view, albeit momentarily.
Houston, good step on board.
So the crew module is separated.
The European service module now separated from Integrity, a job well done.
Integrity, no action for the 4 CDH cautions. Those are SM related, not applicable.
So the service module, which was developed by the European Space Agency, is now detached from the command module. You can see the live video that is coming from the Integrity spacecraft.
So with Integrity now flying free on its own for the remaining 32 minutes of this mission. Next up, the raise burn, a 19-second firing of Integrity's thrusters.
GPS 2.
So the Integrity will now fire a 19-second thrust so that it can finally adjust the attacking angle.
Coming up on the 2-minute mark until
be
the
more
raise
safer.
burn. Again, this is the final tweaking of the orientation of Integrity to put it in the right angle, if you will, the angle of attack that it will fly in during its entrance into the Earth's atmosphere. Entry interface now just 18 minutes, 25 seconds away.
So the visualization is,
this
I guess...
a visualization, but driven by real-time telemetry. This is the maneuvering of Integrity to the raise burn orientation. Just 2,800 miles from Earth.
Houston, we got a great view of the European service module out the window with the sun hitting the side and the solar rays and the NASA worm right there. It's a beautiful looking machine.
Okay, so they can see the service module directly from the Integrity spacecraft, the command module.
And we have completed the maneuver to the raise burn orientation, 1 minute away from the raise burn.
So they will now adjust the angle of attack so that everything just, be on a same path as predicted by the technicians over here. Any minute now we'll have the confirmation from NASA. You can see the control room have all the access, all the details, all the information from the data from the Integrity and also from the ground team, so that and they can recover the capsule.
And the crew module raise burn is underway. A 19-second firing of the thrusters. And we have a completion of the burn.
Okay, so the adjustment burn of the integrity is now complete. It's on the right path now. And in almost around 30 minutes.
Integrity, good. CM raise burn. Your flight path angle is within limits.
Okay, so it is confirmed by the NASA now that the angle of attack is being.
Copies. Looks good on board, Jackie.
Yeah, so it is confirmed that it is on the right path.
Maneuver is now complete. Our trajectory for a splashdown in the Pacific 29 minutes from now is set and will not be amended any further. And we have the right angle of attack to mitigate any excessive heat loads on the vehicle during entry interface.
Integrity, Houston, a heads up about comm coverage. When you perform the 180 roll, for the first minute or so in that attitude, we expect about a minute LOS.
We copy.
So for those who are watching the series of events coming up, we will enter the first traces of Earth's atmosphere 14 minutes, 45 seconds from now. 6:53 and 30 seconds is what is pegged for entry interface at an altitude of 400,000 feet, traveling at approximately 34,800 feet per second, range to touchdown or splashdown 1,701 nautical miles. 24 seconds after entry interface, we will enter a 6-minute blackout period in which we will lose communications with the crew. This is expected due to the buildup of plasma around the vehicle. That's an ionization effect due to the collision, if you will, of the velocity of the spacecraft with the friction of the Earth's atmosphere. That 6-minute blackout is expected to begin.
Okay, for everyone.
Seconds PM Central Time.
Here's a simulation which is run by NASA. And
we will reach our peak speed of
you can see that the command module
miles per hour.
Little shifted, and also it is separated from the service module. It is now coming back onto the Earth. You can see Earth over here in the right bottom part, and the command module is on an angle
of 24,790.
So yeah, coming back to the stream now.
1 miles per hour in 1969. From the end of the blackout period until splashdown, it is just 7 minutes, at which point we'll start deploying the series of parachutes to slow integrity down to an ultimate splashdown velocity of just 19 miles an hour.
We see the same, waiting for the 180 rolls.
Okay, so earlier they were expecting the spacecraft to be go on a blackout phase for around 6 minutes, but now they are expecting for like a 7-minute blackout phase.
The parachute deployment sequence once again will come in several segments, but in rapid fire succession.
And we have a great view of the moon out window too. Looks
okay.
Smaller than yesterday.
So they can see the moon from their spacecraft. Okay, so like they can see the moon from their the window of the Integrity spacecraft, and they're saying that like the moon is a little smaller as compared to yesterday, because yesterday they were pretty close to the moon.
Integrity's astronauts are seeing in the final minutes of this mission that will be completed with splashdown just 25 minutes from now. 3 forward bay cover parachutes will be used to pull the forward bay cover off the top of the vehicle. Then 2 drogue parachutes will be deployed to slow and stabilize the crew module during its descent, followed by 3 pilot parachutes that will lift and deploy the main parachutes from the forward bay. The final sequence will have 3 main parachutes deployed. These will be 116 feet in diameter, each main parachute approximately 265 feet long when reefed. The parachutes will ultimately slow Integrity down from its peak speed of almost 33 times the speed of sound to a gentle 19 miles an hour at splashdown. The vehicle is now currently in a roll to the proper attitude for entry interface. Our trajectory is right on according to flight dynamics.
Okay, so basically they were telling that there'll be a series of parachute deployments will be going with the Integrity, as you know, the speed of the spacecraft will be very, very high, and number phase it'll be almost around 33 Machs, the maximum speed of the spacecraft, which will be 33 Machs. 1 Mach is basically 343 meter per second, which is equal to the speed of sound in air. So the spacecraft will be 33 times more than the speed of sound. It is really, really high speeds, so they have to deploy multiple parachutes on different times to control the speed, so that the entry do not cause any accidents. So I assume it's the screen, I mean the window of the Integrity.
Integrity, Orion in the EI roll 180 attitude.
Looks good on board, Jackie.
This view out of one of Integrity's windows. We had a call for 3 good barrows. Those are barometric pressure sensors that feed altitude and rate of descent information to Integrity's computers that will trigger the parachute deployment sequence. We are less than 9 minutes away from entry interface, 22 minutes from splashdown. You can see the reflection of one of the crew members in the window. Out in the Pacific, the weather conditions remain go. Just a few clouds, some scattered clouds, winds at 10 knots, wave heights just about 4 feet.
So
a gentle day in the Pacific
let me
for
just
the homecoming
add
of
a
Integrity's astronauts.
screen here to show you the live view of the Integrity. Let's just do it 200 and 200.
Integrity back in EI attitude.
On the top right of the screen, you can see the Integrity coming back onto the Earth.
Houston, purge is complete. Crew and vehicle are configured for entry.
Houston copies.
And we're in step 37, transferring nav state to BFS.
So you can see the reflection of the crew members that are sitting inside the Integrity.
And Houston, in instruction 509, we are not below 0.2.
Integrity, no action required.
Integrity.
Now 6 minutes away from entry interface, we will hit the first traces of Earth's atmosphere at an altitude of 400,000 feet, traveling about 34,882 feet per second. Ranged splashdown at that point will be 1,701 nautical miles.
Okay, so basically in 6 minutes, they'll start to feel its atmosphere, the drag, the friction that is causing because of the atmosphere. It'll start to feel after 6 minutes. So currently they are hovering over Earth.
Just a reminder, some 24 seconds after entry interface, we do expect to lose communications with the vehicle and the crew during a 6-minute blackout period, when a plasma shield will build up around the spacecraft due to the ionization, due to heating effects. And Flight Dynamics has just confirmed we will have a blackout period of exactly 6 minutes in duration. And once again, that's due to the fact that a plasma buildup around the vehicle will prevent communications and data, so we will not be able to talk to the crew members at that time, nor will we receive data here in the flight control room.
Houston, everything is looking good on board. Just confirm no pre-EI downloads.
Houston concurs.
That blackout period to begin at 6:53 and 54 seconds p.m. Central Time, and again will last about 6 minutes in duration.
You can now see the Earth's atmosphere, Earth's surface. You can also see onto the bottom left part, and that there are some clouds over Earth. And I assume that's moon in the center of the screen. I assume maybe. Oh no, it can be the command module, so service module that we have left behind, right? So yeah, it's a very beautiful planet that we are living on. You can see it's really fast. Like we can see the Earth coming into the frame very quickly. It's very fast right now.
This view from Integrity, as it crosses from southwest to northeast across the Pacific Ocean, 3 minutes from entry interface.
With this, like, I am remembering the beautiful lines from Carl Sagan, sir, that our Earth is just a pale blue dot if we, view it from really far distances out from the solar system. But like now that we are very close to our Earth, we can see that the same pale blue dot is now grew up, and we can see the surface details, like everything that we see around our home, not just the building we are living in, but the whole planet that we are living in as a whole is this. This is one of the most rarest things in the universe, that we are living on this planet. Like we have surveyed a lot of tons and tons of exoplanets, trying to search for extraterrestrial life that maybe in some sort of form factors life to exist on like some of the planets. But out of all those planets, we are able to find life only on one planet, and that is our home, our Earth. that same pale blue dot that was visible from the Voyager 1 long distance when we crossed the solar system. That same pale blue dot. This is all of us. So one small step for the humanity. One small step on moon and one giant leap for humanity is the truth.
Mark 1 minute until entry interface. 1 minute 20 seconds until the.
You can see the curvature of Earth. Like there are some people out there who says that Earth is a flat object that is roaming in the sky. So their assumptions or their beliefs are actually not true. Earth is actually round, and you can see the clouds. Some, if you notice closely, some ripples of waves of the sea. You can see the atmosphere, the slight bluish aura sort of thing that is over the clouds. That's the atmosphere. So in 5 seconds from now, I guess the command module will enter the atmosphere. They'll start to feel the atmosphere now.
And we have crossed the threshold, now entering the Earth's atmosphere.
So they are starting to feel the atmosphere now.
800 feet per second.
So you can see it's very cloudy out here.
Time to splash down 13 minutes 10 seconds.
So in 13 minutes they'll enter the Earth. And the top light, I assume it is because of the sun. And you can also see the tiny particles, ionized particles that are coming from the heat shield, I guess.
No voice, no data from the crew.
Okay, I guess the blackout phase is started now.
We're 30 seconds away from the anticipated point of peak heating on the vehicle, where temperatures will rise to about 4,000 to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the true test of our trajectory.
And now you can see the integrity live from Earth. So it's feeling the heat now.
G5 aircraft in the vicinity of the splashdown zone, this view of integrity. So that pinpoint of light shows the vehicle as it enters the period of peak heating in the Earth's atmosphere, the first tug of gravity being felt by Integrity's astronauts since their launch back on April 1st.
So they have started feeling the atmosphere now.
Until the end of the blackout period.
And yes, we are in a blackout phase. One of the most crucial phase of this mission during the re-entry of the vehicle is basically this phase only, because now that we do not have any communication with the astronauts inside, the crew inside, we are only relying on the information that we have, that we can retrieve only from Earth right now. So it's really challenging that, like, is everything okay over there? So yeah, in 11 minutes we'll be having the splashdown and see the counter. I assume, I think you cannot see it right now.
Support officer reports that the P3 has acquisition on
let me check it.
integrity.
Okay.
3.5 minutes left in this blackout period.
Keep it over here now.
This is a visualization of the plasma buildup around the spacecraft and the repelling of that heat on Integrity's heat shield.
Basically, it's a visualization of the heat shield's ionization that it is burning, and you can see there's a surrounding of the fire sort of thing, that ionized particles that is basically creating a shell sort of thing around the vehicle, the spacecraft, and it is blocking all the radio wave signals that we use for the communications, and like it is being blocked. That's the reason why we are um, having a blackout phase and see some atmospheric clouds crossing over.
Airborne assets in the vicinity of the splashdown zone do have a visual on integrity.
So we are almost 40 miles over the Earth's surface. 42 miles now, I guess.
Time to splash down.
They are also counting the distance from Moon, which is almost around 2,48,000 miles. Speed is really high right now. It's almost around 500 miles per hour.
Multiple airborne assets as part of the recovery team all have visuals on integrity.
This is the reason why, like, because the blackout phase, we are not able to, retrieve any live recordings from the spacecraft like we are having earlier, around 10 minutes earlier. So we're not receiving any signals from the spacecraft.
And the WB-57 flying in the splashdown zone also has a visual. And the Navy helos also have visuals.
So I think you can see the spacecraft, the slight whitish color.
Still do not have communications from the crew.
Oh, I think everything is going perfectly. It's like 38 miles from Earth now. Yeah. Coming back. Slightly being airborne right now. And every second this feels very challenging at this point of time because, it's really, you can say, sudden. If anything goes wrong, we do not have any backup sort of thing that we can control it with this. Even a slight change in angle, which is not predicted, can cause a lot of damage to the instruments and also the vehicle itself. So it's really hard to complete this phase. I guess now we'll see a visual from the ground team.
Landing and support officer reports the small boats are en route to the splashdown target zone.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the live view of the spacecraft.
Passing through 150,000 feet, our trajectory is perfect. We're getting intermittent views of integrity.
So the ground team is sending some videos of the integrity.
Integrity, Houston, comm check post blackout.
Okay, I guess the blackout phase is gone.
Integrity, we have you loud and clear.
Oh yeah, so the connection is now successful, and yeah, so the ground team can see the integrity spacecraft, and also the communications is being set up now, and we can now rely on the data from the spacecraft itself.
Mission control as voice communication reestablished with Commander Reed Wiseman. For America and a waiting world, integrity is 5.5 minutes away from coming home.
So in 5 minutes and 30 seconds, we can have the astronauts back onto the Earth. I mean, they are back into the Earth's atmosphere now, but they'll splash down into the oceans.
Range to splash down 19 nautical miles.
You can see There are some diffractions going on. You can see the center part. It's very bright because the most the you can say the hottest part.
Camera controller fail is no cab one views of the chutes.
So the camera can now directly see the Integrity spacecraft and see it's very fast right now. The camera have to move really quickly.
Good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity. Time to splash down 4.5 minutes. And a view of Integrity from the WB-57. We're at 50,000 feet.
I guess in a few moments we'll see the parachute deployment. The first parachute deployment of the Integrity so that they can cut off the major speeds.
The pyros are armed for forward bay cover jettison.
Oh yeah, we can see it very clearly now. Okay, so the website says that the mission is complete now. So we can close this tab and of course go back to the stream. Okay, so we have some, you can see some parachutes launching to cut off some speeds. I guess they assume, I assume it's in the troposphere now, maybe in the stratosphere.
Pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
3 minutes will have the astronauts back onto the Earth. In a few moments we'll have the pilot parachutes that will control the command module.
Passing through 10,000 feet, still on drogues.
Okay, so that parachute is being cut off and now the pilot parachutes is being deployed.
We're at 5,000 feet.
Spacecraft is almost around 5,000 feet. And now you can see the spacecraft is very slow now. So almost kind of stopped in the sky. So now it's basically that the same the parachute thing that the skydivers use, so that they can safely land back onto the surface. So it's very similar to that thing now, and they'll just splash down now.
Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for Integrity.
Yeah, everything seems perfect now.
Time to splash down 1 minute 15 seconds.
And when we'll have the astronauts back onto the Earth.
Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
It's like hovering over the ocean, Pacific Ocean specifically, and I guess almost around 40 or 30 seconds we'll have the astronauts back, and you can see some thrusters going on. It's basically calculating the perfect sweet spot for the integrity land.
Passing through 1,000 feet.
So we are less than 1,000 feet now above the surface. We're almost there. And the astronauts have splashed down back onto the Earth. They are, I assume, what we see from the visuals, they are safe. They have safely landed back onto the Earth.
A modern-day mission to the moon. A new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts.
And with this, the Artemis 2 mission is officially over, and now the team of NASA will just get back to the astronauts and help them recovering.
We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
Everyone is safe inside the capsule, and they have safely landed back onto the Earth. And congratulations to all the humankind to do it once again. Of course, it was just a trip around to the moon, but again, we are doing it after 54 years since 1972. And hopefully, in the Artemis 3 missions, we do the same job. And of course, that mission is also successful. And of course, the ultimate mission of the humankind, that we have to colonize Mars in future, just is taking one more step with this mission. It's complete now. So yeah. And I think with this, we can close this live now. I think it's the best time to end this live. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you're watching it right now.
Once again, splashdown occurring in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego.
You can see the teams.
Integrity Houston, comm check on VLDR.
Okay, so with this, I'm closing this live. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And once again, congratulations to everyone.